Hello, dear Starshines. Christina here with Rise the Multidimensional Human and Lightbody Academy. Welcome to today's lunchtime chat. For those of you who are new to the chats, my name is Christina. I am the acceleration expert, and we are here to talk about topics and issues that are relevant for us way showers, star seeds, and other people who engage reality in a different way than the average human. I do my best to provide a liberated perspective to today's current challenges. And today, aren't there a lot of those? Yes, right now we know that we're aware that the planet is undergoing a very significant transformation process. Depending on who you talk to, it may be good, it may not be. So I'm here to chime in on the topics that are brought to my awareness via the conversations that we have in our Facebook group. We have a very special Facebook community called Rise the Multidimensional Human. If you want to check that community out and you're on Facebook, I encourage you guys to do that. And if you loathe Facebook, which many of us are starting to be in that category, we have a secondary a group where you can contribute to the conversation, and it's called Multidimensional Human, and that is on Telegram. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and pause here and just give everybody a moment in our usual crew to jump on board into this conversation. As you guys come on board, go ahead, let me know, say hi. Hey, Carol, how you doing? Good to have you. Hi, Polly. Glad to have you guys here. Thank you for hanging out. I know there's been a lot of drama, hasn't there? All kinds of drama. So yeah, we're going to talk about some of that. Let me draw up the topics real quick, and I'll go ahead and announce those. So for those of you who are new to this, usually what we do is we cultivate the conversation, and I come up with these topics in various ways. There is a group of over 1,000 people on Facebook where they put forward topics and issues that are important to them, and sometimes we have other kinds of conversations that go on, and I might bring that into the chats. Other ways that I develop this is that people will personally message me and about something that's really significant, because some people are more private than others, right? That's really significant for them that they're going through. And then also I work with a group of psychic intuitives globally called through the Lightbody Academy. And there are very significant things that get developed within that group. So there's several avenues that this information that I come about these topics, and that I gather the experience, insight, and information from. Not all of it, actually, most of it is intuitive. So I'm going to say not all of it is based in science. So if that's something that is a stickler for you, it has to be provable via science, then this is probably not a conversation you're going to enjoy, because everything pretty much I talk about is I arrive at these different places through intuitive knowing, intuitive senses, and by working with groups of intuitives and seeing what happens with the energy. So we talk mostly about energy, consciousness, resonance, stuff and we speak in those terms. So do know that that's a major facet to how we talk. Good morning. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Sherry. Hey, Louise. Hi, Laurel. Hodai. Oh, I love you guys. Mwah. Those are my dear sisters. All right. So topics. So the first topic is, why are some people adversely affected spiritually? I think that's supposed to be affected spiritually by the jab and not others. The rabbit hole, it's a rabbit hole, not for the faint of heart. And this is true. I've been having experiences with intuitives, many different intuitives, in exploring and tracking their experiences. Most don't want to get the jab. They feel like they're, intuitively, they just want to stay away from it, but others are feeling inclined. So I've had the honor and the opportunity to be trusted, so I can track into them and track into the situation and see what's going on and offer my input. So I'm really lucky to have that, and I have some very disturbing things to report and some promising things to report. I promise you guys know I'm not all doomsday. I really do not like pure fear porn or to be a part of the fear porn scene. So everything I share with you, I share with you the crazy stuff, and then I want to share what you could be doing about it. So, and then there's, you guys know about that drama. So there's a little bit of drama in the Facebook group, and I want to talk about how the smear campaign of nonconformists is playing out on social media and what we can do about it. So what happened is that Facebook originally told me that our group was going to get restricted because there were people posting things that were fact checked and they concluded were false. It was false information. And then when I looked into the specific posts that they were flagging, they were memes. Okay, some of them were memes that were talking about holistic and metaphysical practices, like with seeds and growing medicine gardens and stuff like this. So of course, modern science is not going to jive with that. The other thing that happened was it didn't flag all the people that were posting false information. I myself have put a couple posts up there that they, fact checked and said it was false information. So when I saw that discrepancy, I really was like, wait a minute, there's something else going on here. And what has happened is that there's specific people that have been labeled extremist or free thinkers, and Facebook is going after them and the groups they belong to. So I'm going to talk more about that because there are ways around this, guys. We are infinite creator beings. If there's a will, there's a way, right? So I want to talk about that. And then also, I probably should start off with this because some of these topics go pretty dark. There are 3 huge blessings I see coming out of the current shenanigans going on. And what do I mean by shenanigans? Well, I think most of you guys know what I mean by shenanigans, but I'm talking about the medical tyranny, the censorship, the COVID game, all the different manipulations going on. I feel like, it's causing a lot of pain and despair and uncomfortableness, and there's a lot of pain that's arising out of this. But within this pain, within this suffering, there is a massive ray of light that I see awakening in humanity. Unfortunately, it's not something that is easily accepted by the ego driver. That is the being that you think you are when you're looking in the mirror, or the being that you are when you are meeting somebody and telling them about yourself. Okay, the ego driver definition of who you are is in the most suffering, but the actual spiritual you, the infinite being you, is breaking through those cracks big time, and there is really magnificent transformation going on. And I want to talk about those blessings that I'm seeing happening. So stay tuned. I'm going to get into all that. But before I do, I want to mention to everybody, if you really resonate with the talks that I do here, and you want to know more about the kind of work that we do at the Academy, I encourage you to visit lightbodyacademy.com. We teach people how to reclaim their dream time, reclaim their multidimensional ability to participate consciously in dreaming this world into being. Okay, we are infinite creator beings. These control structures that we are working with right now are, they're just one layer of that. No one can really pull your dream time away from you without you letting it. So this whole project is about empowering humanity to wake up to their multidimensional nature. Then how do you use your multidimensional nature to contribute into the creation of your life and retake control over what unfolds in your life, and what you could be doing to create the world you want, participate in the world that you want, a world with clean water, with peace, with healthy children, with beauty. Okay, the things that are truly in your heart and your spirit to see in the world. Okay, thank you. All right, hello, dear sister Joanne and dear sister Tammy. Thank you, guys. All right, so let's dive in. So I do this activation so we can pull you out of the normal frequency that you're perceiving through. Okay, and all of you guys are intuitive, and I could just shift my energy, and you're going to shift your energy too, and your perspective's gonna shift along with that. But when I draw things like this, it has an imprint. It makes an imprint in the subconscious, and it taps on doorways to ancient memories, ancient aspects of who you are. So even if your mental body and who you think you are isn't aware of it doesn't mean it's not there, and it doesn't mean it doesn't influence how you perceive. Okay, so when we're looking outside in the world and we're experiencing the world, we're actually only seeing this much of what's happening in the world. And I'm not talking about just, the visual spectrum is this much and there's actually these many frequencies. That's not what I mean. I mean that we don't actually see what's in front of us when we're in the world. When we are engaging in the world, we only see the things that are framed up by our belief systems, consciously and subconsciously. Okay, we're only able to perceive the things our subconscious can allow us to perceive. Okay, so in this way, we miss that the universe is talking to us all the time. Nature is reaching out to us all the time, and we often glean over, that we've been getting informed this entire time. All the questions. Sorry, I'm saying that backwards. All the answers to the questions we've been asking the universe has been getting responded to this entire time. We just weren't paying attention. We weren't able to see what was getting put right in front of us. So when I draw these shapes and I do this activation, it's really to open us up to what is new, open our subconscious and other realms of who we are up to something that we weren't open to before. Okay, so it's just to open your perspective and liberate liberate you from some of those lenses that skew what's happening, what you're perceiving, what you're engaging with. Okay. So take a nice deep breath. I'm going to start by shooting us right out, but yet in onto the galactic plane. The galactic plane. Yes, and someone has asked me, why do I choose going clockwise or counterclockwise? And that really all depends on the energy of the moment. Okay. The Milky Way itself, when she is spinning, if you were to look at her, look at her face on like this, the spin goes clockwise. And because the spin goes clockwise, it is said energy vortexes that hold life, that hold consciousness, spin clockwise. And if you want to open up stuck energy, liberate it so it can be released from that nesting doll, from that shell, from that spin, okay, then you would go counterclockwise. So when I do some circles counter, some circles clockwise, just intuitively, I'm opening and I'm closing energy centers. It has nothing to do with the actual dimension itself that I'm referring to, or portal, or opening up the resonance to. Okay, just so you guys have that. All right, so we have the galactic plane. This is the Madre de Dios, the Mother of God. This has been in our mythology for thousands and thousands of years. Yes, our God, the oneness, the all that is consciousness that many humans call God, has a mother. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about the void space, guys. That's different. The Mother of God, Madre de Dios. A lot of Christianity, the Protestant teachings really moved away from the concept of a Mother of God. But when you get to Catholicism, and that was the original Christian model that was converting different cultures, they realized that they could not convert any culture with a male Godhead only. They had to have the Mother of God, or else they weren't going to be able to successfully convert people. Yeah, I know many of them were converted through tyranny, but even that they wouldn't have been able to embrace it all the way without that feminine acknowledgement. Okay, so the Mother of God is something that is deeply ingrained into the human psyche. I mean, Pachamama, Mother Earth, right? She gives us all of us life. She gives us breath. She gives us bodies. So this is the Mother of God. And this exists within our body, within our energy field. It's a frequency that permeates through us. But if you want to direct access to the portal, let's call it, the portal that opens you to this consciousness, that would be the Wiracocha, what I call the Wiracocha. That's something that I learned through certain traditions that I worked with. But before I worked with those traditions, I worked with star people, Palladians in particular, and they referred to the golden sun that was at the top of our energy field, and they would call that the galactic chakra, eighth chakra, stuff like this. Now, you guys know I don't really like the language of chakras because of the whole chakra program, the hijacking and all that. So if you want to just tune into that golden sun that's at the top of your energy field, this, just to tune into that, you can put your hands together, and when you notice that when you have the intention of connecting with that golden sun, and you put your hands together, that there's that resistance, right? That resistance between your hands. You can actually start to get a feeling, even a tone, visual, when you do this. And then once you tune into that Wiracocha in that way, you'll recognize that you can start manipulating it as well. You can move it up, you can move it down, you can wash it through your body, you can wash it through your energy field. Okay, this is your personal portal, let's say, to the infinite. Okay, and in the portal of the infinite is the mother of God, the Milky center of the Milky Way galaxy is the doorway into that infinite. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So that means there's more nesting dolls beyond this. It's not just the galactic plane. There's multiverses. There's multiple galaxies. There's multiple universes, and so on and so forth. Okay, then the next nesting doll, the all that is. This is what most beings think they're referring to when they're talking about God. Not always. When people talk about God, the man in the sky that made the commandments and cast judgment and stuff like that, that is not this. Okay, that is a different kind of, that's another being that has hijacked our connection to the all that is, so he can reap the benefits. Okay, Yahweh, we would call him, or Yahshua. I know I'm offending people when I say that. I'm not trying to offend you. Just please keep in mind that you are an infinite being in a biosuit. Okay, and because of that, there is no being that has dominion over you. No being has dominion over you. So that means when you are no longer in this body and you leave this state, there's no judge and jury other than yourself. Okay, there's no being at the pearly gates that's going to say, okay, this one was a good human. This one was, they obeyed the commandments. Therefore, they're going to get to go to heaven. And you over there, you didn't obey the commandments, and there you should go to hell. No such thing. Only if you believe that that's the truth. If you believe that to be the truth, that will be your experience when you leave your body, when you decide to expire out of this biosuit. But you are an infinite being. In the highest truth, you are an infinite being in this biosuit. There is no judge and jury, okay, other than yourself. Just know that. And this all that is presence, that weaves you with all life, right? This is that oneness that lives inside of you. It's a consciousness that lives inside of you. There's nothing you can do, not even take a jab, to disconnect you from that truth. Your body would not be functioning without this being a part of you. Your body would not be functioning without this being part of you. Okay, so just know you are an integrated unit, and you cannot operate with any one of these layers not there. Okay, you have to have all these layers, all these nesting dolls informing your reality to even be able to have this body to walk through this realm. All that is. And our doorway to perceiving the all that is presence is our pituitary gland. Okay, our endocrine system are stargates. This is something I learned by working with different immortal masters. This is what they teach you when you want to claim yourself as a sovereign being. You have to reclaim your endocrine system. Okay, you have to reclaim your glands because they are stargates. They are the gateways to you, to bigger aspects of you, right? So the pituitary gland is the doorway to your all that is presence. Okay. Then we have the next nesting doll. So we have the all that is presence, and then some part of you decided that you wanted to have you wanted to have an additional nesting doll of individuation. So you parted out of the all that is presence, and that frequency that you parted as, a lot of people may refer to as your soul song. That frequency, that tone that is your soul song, as it traveled through the nesting dolls, through the dimensions, that tone is that tone frequency that is that's holding the consciousness of the separation, is that 7D. Your soul song is your 7D tone, your frequency. And when people are talking about everything being in frequency, this is what they're talking about. This is behind all geometry. This is behind all light shapes. This is behind all form. Before you could ever have any kind of form, you were first a wavelength. Okay. So this frequency, the lens to perceiving this frequency, is your pineal gland. And this pineal gland works in conjunction with your hypothalamus. So that means as you tune in and pick up frequencies, if you're seeing a movie in your mind's eye, from psychically, what you're picking up, it's your hypothalamus that's taking that information from the pineal gland and taking it in and making it into a movie that you can perceive. Okay, so those two things work together. So you're in the soul song, you're a frequency, la, right? You're a frequency, and now you decide you want to explore yourself through form, right? So that means you go through another veil into another nesting doll. And this nesting doll is your light body. It is your sacred geomic form. It is the light form that is a precursor to your physical form. Okay. Now, this light body is not just for this particular incarnational experience. It's not just for incarnating in this realm. This light body maps out the entire unfoldment. That means all the separation you're ever going to experience throughout the Milky Way galaxy and beyond. And it contains all the ways you're going to come home to yourself. Okay. So this is a hyperdimensional blueprint to your unfoldment. Okay. Then that next layer, that next veil that your form goes through. So your light body, you have your light body. There is no time and space on that level, and then you go on to the next density of form, which is the exploration of all the different lifetimes experiences that light body has to offer you. And people might call this the Akasha. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't talk about the gland for the 6D. The gland for your 6D form, for perceiving the stargate, is the thymus gland. Okay. So when you're stepping out of your truth, if you're living, this is actually important for later on in the conversation, if you're living a life that is not congruent with the truth of who you are on this level, you are participating in your further fragmentation. That means you are losing energy. You're becoming weaker. Okay. You're exploring trauma. You're exploring suffering. You're exploring separation. Okay. And the health of your, I said thymus, I meant thyroid. I beg your pardon. The health of your thyroid gland is reflecting to you the choices you've been making in this life. Are you exploring further separation? Are you exploring more suffering, or are you on the journey of coming back home? None of it's good, bad, right, or wrong. I'm just saying this is the things that are become the root of certain kind of dis-ease in our form, in our bodies. Okay, many of us have come here to learn stuff through suffering. Okay, those of us who've been incarnating on this planet and other kinds of planets where there is trauma dramas, we were doing that because we were exploring our suffering. That was part of why we were coming here, right? But now we're going into a new paradigm where it's not about learning through suffering anymore. All right, we are now shifting the way the needs of the way that we are growing in our experiences. It's no longer through having to go through trauma, drama, and separation. We are now learning how to grow and mature through beauty, through unification, okay, through compassion. creativity, stuff like this. Okay. And the eyes that look right into the Akasha, into our soul's journey, is right here in our heart. Okay. Our heart is a hyperdimensional organ. It is not just a pump. And there are some really cool posts that were posted in the group about this. So some of them were scientists and doctors talking, doing thorough explanations of the purpose of the heart and the different spirals and geometries. So our heart is a hyperdimensional organ, and there is a doorway, there's a vortex within our heart where everything is unified, everything is one. Okay, everything is one. And there's also other doorways that you can explore. There's doorways within your own heart where you can explore your Akasha, soul agreements, promises, vows, all this stuff. Okay. So there's a doorway there. And also what goes on with our heart is that it has an electromagnetic field, a really strong heart field. You can feel it when you're around somebody who has a real strong heart field. It's like all of a sudden you feel a little lighter, you feel a little happier when you're around them, even if you guys aren't even talking to each other. Even if you're just sitting there silently, there's something that's a little bit sweeter in that moment. Yeah. So our heart is a major player. It's actually the big game changer when you're on your spiritual journey and you awaken to the truth within your heart. Because within your heart, you're beyond time. Time is not linear here in the 5D, and neither is the reality in your heart. Now, this is reflected back to us, like when you have heart connections, when you explore, like say you meet somebody and instantly you feel connected, and you feel like they're a soul tribe, their heart connection. You may not see them again for many, 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 many years, and you'll come together, and you guys will just be able to pick up right where you left off. Because there is no time in those kinds of connections. It doesn't matter. It's all the truth right there in that moment. So our heart is a really powerful guide for us. Okay. When you have relationships that, are really disharmonic, or there's a lot of strife and struggle, sometimes, it's because you guys are not allowing that heart connection to happen. And there's lots of reasons why. There's all kinds of stuff in the Akasha. There's all kinds of stuff in the light body. There's all kinds of stuff in the frequency vibration, So there's lots of components into why that's so. And I'm not saying any of it's good or bad. I mean, I have lots of relationships that I really appreciate the relationship, and I appreciate the person being in my life, but it's not necessarily the most harmonic relationship in my life. You see what I mean? So I'm not saying anything's good, bad, right, or wrong. I'm just giving another kind of explanation on why things are unfolding in a certain way. All right. So the other thing about the Akasha is that it's cyclical time. There's no beginning, middle, and end. Everything just keeps going. And then we have that next layer, which is the collective field. Now, more and more of humanity is getting awake to the collective field. So this is collective belief systems, right? Like there's a virus killing people. There's collective thought forms, right? This program and that program. There's collective programs that people buy into and give, and become a part of. It's all personal choice. So this field, though, this particular field has been explored a lot by a gentleman named Bruce Lipton. And if you guys have not checked out his work yet, I highly encourage you guys to check out his work, because what he discovered, and this is huge for the jab conversation, what he discovered is that it is not the DNA. It is not the DNA that tells the cell how to be healthy, what kinds of nutrients to take in, what segments of the DNA to replicate. It's not the DNA that decides that. It is the outer shell of the cell that decides that. It is your emotions. It is your belief. Okay. He actually calls it, I think the book is called Biology of Belief. Okay. It's the environment that the cell is in that tells the cell what kinds of nutrients to take in and not take in. It is not the DNA in the center of the cell. And this is a really important part of the conversation, given, what they're talking about with the jabs, altering DNA and stuff like this. Okay. Now you can deactivate DNA strands by your vibration, by your belief system, by the way you be. You can completely deactivate DNA strands, RNA strands. And then you can activate dormant DNA and RNA strands by how you be and how you believe and how you live. Okay. So please, I encourage you guys to check this out, to check out his work. All right. And then we have the next layer, which is the 3D, which we know that this is space, right? The idea that there's space, there's separation between you and me, there's separation between me and these trees, me and these flowers, okay? And this is all an experience only 3D can give us, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, special experience. Now, I can step out of this 3D shell anytime. How? By sympathetic resonance. So I can start to resonate. I can start to resonate with certain atoms or certain molecules, certain minerals within my body, and the life around me that has that same mineral, I will start to resonate with. So I can resonate with the minerals and atoms that I share with this tree. I can start to purposely go inside to my rhythms and start resonating with that. And when I do, I feel instantly connected and one with this tree. Now, I didn't go over and hug this tree, right? I didn't do anything in 3D, nothing that you can see with the eyes. I just shifted my awareness and shifted my frequency and my intent. And by doing that, I completely transcend this 3D space and go through the world of resonance, right? So it's a much more much more easier thing to connect with than we realize. And there's this beautiful quote by Rumi that says, "It's not the people that speak the same language that understand each other. It's those that share the same feeling." Yeah? Okay. Really, really important point he was making there. Okay, and then we have our telluric realm. This is the language of cells, cellular exchange, ionic exchange, breakdown, build up, metabolism. Then it's also the language of atoms and molecules. So there's a lot of richness in this 2D form, in this telluric realm. Our body is one layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of systems of cells full of atoms and molecules, right? So there's many, many layers that makes up this biosuit, and this skin is like, the 3D manifestation. And then it's just like the crust, the crust of the earth. It's like the interface between these realms, the realm of space and telluric intelligence. Now, our bodies shed trillions of cells, trillions of protein strands, of bugs, of bacteria. I mean, our body is shedding constantly. And I've heard many scientists talk about, this has been in massage school even, we shed literally trillions of molecules and protein strands a day. Every single day, our body is shedding. Hair, right? You have saliva, you ever accidentally spit and talk, right? You have that kind of thing. But then you also have the thing, all the dead skin cells, all the live skin cells, all the bugs and little microscopic things within your skin cells, life forms. Okay, there's lots and lots happening. So we are exchanging with our outer world constantly. We are never not exchanging with our outer world. Our skin needs to breathe. You ever spend too much time in water, it turns all wrinkly, right? So we're constantly exchanging molecules with our outer world. And many of these molecules that we're taking in are a part of us. A week ago, they could have been in a whale or in a tree or part of a butterfly. So we are deeply, deeply connected in this web of life with in this telluric aspect as well. Not just sympathetic resonance, but physically those atoms and molecules we have interactions with. And this is the foundation of us being able to experience space, that 3D. And then at the center of that is the heart and mind of the Pachamama. Some people would call it the iron crystal core. Okay, the heart and mind of Pachamama. This is the condensed manifestation of the entirety of the universal mother, condensed into that core. Okay, this is why Pachamama, we feel her as feminine. She is the embodiment of the universal mother, and we have great diversity on this planet because of that. Not all planets are this kind of consciousness. Like Jupiter is not that kind of consciousness. Saturn, different kind of consciousness. It's still a magnificent being condensed into a planet, but it's not the entirety of the universal mother. It's a specific kind of consciousness that's condensed. That's why each of our planets have a role to play for us. Like, for example, Jupiter is the keeper of the occult and the mystery school teachings of the consciousness in the solar ring. And then you have Mars, which up until very recently was the god of war. He's not the god of war anymore, but that's because that his consciousness has shifted into something else, and therefore our consciousness has shifted because we're connected. So this is a important thing to keep in mind. Of all these beings are participating in the unfoldment of these nesting dolls for us, for our experience in the here and now. So quite literally, and I know this sounds silly, but quite literally, the sun comes out and shines for you. Mm-hmm. I know. That's a real mind trip. All right. So, and then when you come into the here and now for the human consciousness, for the mental body consciousness, here you are, the here and now. And everything is about the now. If you pay close attention here with the here and now, there is no future, there is no past. There is no, not until you go out to here is there linear time, and not until you go out to here is there circular time. Okay? There's only the here and now. There is no time in the here and now, because it's only this moment. That is where all the power is in this moment. So when you are working in relationships, or you're working with this thing, or you're working with that thing, comes to talking about it being in the future is not where the power is. The power is seeing what's in front of you in the moment and taking action. Okay. And it may not be like a harsh taking action. It may be a very gentle taking action. It may be by simply, maybe that's your power move. Okay. So you can change everything in a moment when you fully show up for it and see truly what's in front of you. When we're not seeing truly what's in front of us, we are reacting out of past experiences or fear of future ones. Okay. So we're in a disempowered state either way. And what's in front of us, we are connecting to that story, and we're taking action we're taking action in the now out of the past, or we're taking action in the now for fear of what's in the future. Okay, so this is really important, especially in these crazy times right now, because power games are going off the charts. You guys know this. Power games are happening big time, and in the future, it feels choked off, right? And in the past, we're angry. But when you're in the now, it's so important to see what's happening, so you can be at peace and contentment with the very moment that you're in, that you're taking your breath, that your heart is beating. Okay. So let me talk about some of the shenanigans going on, especially with our Facebook group, because there's a few things, if you're in that Facebook group, you need to know about. So I did put out this notice saying that if we get closed down, because we might, I don't try to tell people, I don't believe in censorship. I believe in sovereignty. People are adults. They can decide what to take in and what not to take in. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't agree with that. They think that things need to be only the right, only the this and only the that. And this person is bad because they do this, and that person is evil because they do that. And there's anger and judgment. Now, this group has been around long enough where the reactive ones that can't handle people that disagree with them, can't allow people to disagree with them. They've left this group a long time ago. But the ones that are here have a lot of compassion, a lot of tolerance, and we know we don't agree about everything, but we honor the people's right to be able to voice it, to be able to share what they believe. Okay, we feel it, or at least I feel this way, is that it's more important to have a safe and neutral space for people to truly be, right? Rather than, because I encourage authenticity, and it's hard to be authentic and honest when you're constantly waiting to get judged, right? Or waiting for some kind of ramifications to happen because you said something that was unpopular, right? So that's not the kind of space, that's not the kind of community my intention was to bring. It's like this community is about equipping you guys, empowering you guys, giving you what I can to liberate your perspective, be free within yourself so you can allow others to be free too, right? So what they did was they originally started off with, it's pretty funny, with saying, directing us that we should be deleting, when I say us, I'm talking about admins, that we should be deleting content that's considered fact checked and false information. Now the problem with that is that holistic philosophies are being fact checked and considered false information, okay, because it can't be scientifically proven. So that pretty much alienates everybody in our community, because all of us have some level of holistic philosophy that we apply to our lives, right? I mean, some of us are in more extremes than others, but we're a spectrum. So there's that kind of thing. And then multidimensionality, talking about this, none of this is considered scientifically accurate. Okay. Well, unless you read Barbara Handclau's Alchemy of the Nine Dimensions, because she actually did the research and found different scientists and specialists in these areas to prove that these dimensions do exist, right? But of course, that's outside the purview of what they're doing on Facebook. And then the other thing was, anything to do with magic, right? Of course, they're not going to agree with that. So I was going through the different things that were flagged as false information. I mean, most of it was not serious at all. I mean, most of the things that I would think that they would be really upset about would be things around COVID, things around the vaccine, things around these different pieces. And really, there were only 2 posts out of all those posts. And there's thousands, guys. Out of all those posts, there was only 2 posts that they flagged as the culprit of why our group has become restricted. And what I recognized was they were going after specific people. So it's not the false content. Dear Sister Joanne, you post a lot of alternative news, and a lot of it was considered, to be false information, fact checked. We don't care. I don't care. I mean, I read some of it. I think I resonate with a lot of it, so I'm like, whatever. I'm cool with that. And I would think there's certain names that would have been on that list that were not on that list. So that means people reported these guys, and they are guys. They're all men. And what Facebook is doing is they're giving us the ultimatum is that we delete these people from our group, or our group is going to get restricted. And I really value our community, because you guys are great. There's so many wonderful ideas, and a lot of people are only on Facebook because of that group. So rather than alienating people, because I don't believe in ostracizing and alienation and tyranny, I refuse to give into that. Instead, what I've done is I've created a offshoot, a secret group. Right now it's private, so people can see it and request access to it, right? But as soon as we get, most of the people transferred over, it's going to go into a secret category where no one can find it when they search for it, and no one can see who's the members of it. Okay. And this secret group is called Empowered Souls and Free Thinkers Alliance. Many of you guys may have seen the notice. So what my idea is, right? What my idea is that all that controversial content and people that have been flagged can be members in that group and share all they want. And if that group gets taken off, no big deal. We'll just create another one. Empowered Souls and Free Thinkers Part 2. You know what I mean? We'll just, so that way it doesn't destroy the larger community, and we can still share freely. We can still share without repercussions, and we don't have to alienate or ostracize any of our beloved members. Okay. So, because you guys don't realize that when you are going through and picking something to post to the group, that information has been curated. It has been curated by you who has a particular expanded level of consciousness. So everything that gets posted to that group isn't just blah, blah, blah. Well, all right, some of it is blah, 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 because people just don't quite get it. But that's fine. They will. And, it just have patience. People are there for a reason. They're drawn to it for a reason. I trust that. So that's why that's like that, guys. So if you want to continue to be connected to those that Facebook is trying to ostracize and force us to kick out, right? Then, be in that group, post all the controversial stuff you want to post in that group. And if and when it gets flagged or deleted, no big deal. They didn't fracture our community. They just took the bait, and then we can start another one somewhere else. No big deal. And for those of you who just feel completely violated by that tyranny, and I kind of go back and forth. I'm trying to figure out how to just keep walking and do what I want to do the way I want to do it. There's that alternative group on Telegram called Multidimensional Human. So I don't check that one as often as I do the Rise group, but I will start. For sure. But these chats, bridging inner worlds, all that stuff, that gets posted to the group. So you won't miss out on any of the live stuff, because we'll still be posting and you can still find it. It's just the live stuff you'll have to watch on YouTube and not on Facebook. That's all that is. All right. Okay. Tammy, please explain what Pachamama is, what Pachamama means. Oh, okay. So Pachamama. All right. So Pachamama is a Quechua term, and there were Dreamtime masters of that lineage that I was trained by. Well, that I've had. It's hard to explain that. So they come into Dreamtime, they work with you, and then you actually meet them in person. And the bridge between the Western mind and the wisdom keepers that were in the Quechua tribes was a gentleman named Alberto Violdo. And so I got involved with the 4-1 Society and all that, and did their full-on training and some expeditions in South America with them. And so that's how I got connected with them in the physical. And before that, it was in Dreamtime. And their language is beautiful. And this is something that I've been exploring a lot about language. English language is really limited and narrow and defined. And we value succinctness and, getting to the point, stuff like this. Well, some of us do, depending on our character. And, but native indigenous languages aren't like that. They're more like songs. They're more like poetry. Okay. And they're actually more precise in a lot of ways than English ever could be, because it allows for magic. A lot of the language allows for magic and consciousness to be a part of life. And Pacha Mama, right? Mama, of course, is mother. That's a primal thing. Mama, na, stuff like this. That's mother. And Pacha is realm. So the earth, Mother Earth, is literally in their language the realm of the mother. So they also have other terms. Mamakia is grandmother moon, right? And then you have there's lots of terms like this. They also talk about many other planes there are many other Pachas besides just the realms of the mother. There's Kai Pacha. There's Hanak Pacha, okay? And these are, like Kai Pacha is the realm, the upper realms, right? And you have, so they talk that Pacha is used a lot to describe things as realms or planes of existence like this. All right. Hello, dear Tony. Joanne has something to say. I love to share information that is worthy of consideration, not because I believe all of it, because of my particular background. I'm open to looking beyond to discover what is true on various levels. Truly love dialogue, not argument. Yeah, right. So this is a freer way to think. You're a free thinker. It's like you listen, you evaluate, and decide where you're at. That is somebody who's been liberated from the intense confines of belief systems. Okay. All right. So I talked about the thing with Facebook. I really want to get to these other points because this is actually the major thing I wanted to talk about. But of course, time goes by so fast. So I'm going to go a little bit over so I can cover these pieces. All right. So number one, what I wanted to talk about was, all right, well, they go hand in hand. So there are people who have extremely adverse reactions to the inoculation, and some do not. And some of those adverse reactions are physical, some of them are mental, emotional, psychological, and some of them are spiritual, are energetic. Okay. And I've now had interaction with full spectrum of people that that have received this inoculation, and this is what I have observed. Now, everything I'm saying is not absolute conclusion, but this is my hypothesis that I've developed by my observations, okay, and working with certain folks. Number one, light workers that are affected adversely have a few things in common. One is that they do not have a strong sense of autonomy. They feel a victim to certain circumstances. It could be a victim of humanity. It could be a victim of the monetary system. There's a strong level of victimhood and certain levels of autonomy that they're not able to claim and have mastery of. Okay, there's that. 2, the amount of time you spend on electronics. And I'm talking about more than just, draining your motivation, or, being on the boob tube and, binge watching something. That's not what I mean, though that can be part of it. Okay. What I mean is how much of your digital information has been harvested, because they can know everything about you, right? Through collecting your data, all your friends, where you frequent, how often you go to the grocery store, what kinds of clothes you like to wear, what's your favorite color, your favorite movies, your favorite dance, your favorite, all that. They can collect all of that information about you. They can know everything about you. Sometimes maybe even know things about you you don't know about you, like maybe your husband's having an affair, stuff like that. They'll know this by collecting the data. And here's the thing about that, and I've talked about this in other chats, and lots of other chats actually, and that is the sympathetic resonance in sand paintings. Excuse me. It's really hot and humid here today. Okay, so I talked about, there's medicine people that use these forms, to use this sympathetic resonance in the form of maybe voodoo dolls or sand paintings or healing sculptures, healing art, stuff like this. And this is where you create a accurate likeness of the person you want to affect via sympathetic resonance. Now, voodoo dolls have got a bad rap. A lot of people feel like that's black magic and cursing, and that's not what it is. The original form of the voodoo doll was a healing tool. It was a healing tool because what you would do is that you would create a doll that had a likeness to the patient, to the client, and then you would connect those energies with your intent and the client's permission, and you would connect those energies. Then whatever energetically you did with that doll, it would affect the person it's connected to, that it's a replica of. Okay, exact same concept with sand paintings. You can the Wichita people. These are people that live in the high plains deserts of Mexico, and other places too. They would create these elaborate sand paintings that were so precise that what would happen is that it's like, say, a sand painting of a particular family dynamic that was going on, and the shaman was called forward to bring healing to the family trauma or to the family wound, whatever was happening. You'd be able to make that sand painting to such a likeness, to such accuracy on the energetic, that then he can start doing things energetically with the sand painting, and it would affect the dynamics of the family. Okay, well, they're doing the exact same thing with collecting your data, guys. Most humans have a holographic replica going on. So that likeliness gets cultivated first by collecting your data and drawing a picture of your habits, who you are, what you like, and all that stuff. And then they build on it from there. Okay. I'm still on the light workers that have spiritual adverse effects spiritually from getting the jab. The other thing I found is their personal belief system. And this kind of ties in with autonomy, but I broke it out differently because there's some fine tuning here. If you believe that your connection to creator, to the all that is presence and the mother of God, the great universal mother, if you believe it's possible for a technology to interfere with that connection, then it can. Now, it can't on some level, but it can on other levels. You know what I mean? It's like it can become part of our experience, that we actually experience that feeling of that. But in reality, we don't actually become disconnected. Okay. So our belief systems are here in the 5 and 4D. Okay. Our belief systems are here in the current life, and we carry from lifetime to lifetime via this field right here. Okay. So these are the belief systems that we've explored many lifetimes over, and these are the belief systems that have been cultivated due to cultural family conditioning. Okay. So depending on how much you have going on, how much suffering you've explored within your soul's journey and in this current incarnational experience, that's going to affect your belief system, and if you can be affected by technology, if you can be connected from yourself, your infinite self, via technology. Big piece right there. Really big piece, guys. The other thing is, and it's not, well, some people might not think it's spiritual, but it is, because dis-ease starts in the energy. Dis-ease has already been mapped out in your light body. Remember, all of your mechanisms of fragmentation are found in this hyperdimensional blueprint of your unfoldment. And so is your healing and reunification also in that blueprint. So if you are having a lifetime right now where you lack physical strength, resiliency, right, then you can be susceptible. And that's because of, there's so many levels why. Physically, there's all kinds of crazy stuff goes on. I'm talking about those that feel spiritually affected by what's happening. Now, there are people who are reporting being affected that are not vaccinated. They feel like they are getting affected by others who have gotten the jab. And I can report that is a real thing. I've witnessed it myself many times now. And I'll talk about that in another chat. Just know where you are on these levels right here, and you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. You'll be able to navigate because you have the personal autonomy, the sovereignty, the awareness of who you are to be okay, right? Okay, that's the that's the not so great stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not able to go deeper down some of these rabbit holes just because we're going to be here for 3 hours. So I can pick this up. I can pick this up in the Rise group as well with additional videos. All right, so let me get to the blessings that's going on in all this. If you guys want to find out, if you guys want something that you can, take in, or, what practices you can adopt into your lifestyle to help protect you from the manipulation, the technological manipulation. I mean, there's lots of things out there. I encourage you guys to check out David Avocado Wolf, and Sherry Tenpenny. They've been exploring a lot of different ways to mitigate the transmission, the effects of the transmissions that are going on. And if you don't know this, you really got to know this, that they're in this light worker world and the holistic healer world, it has been fractured because of this issue. There are chiropractors that you're not allowed, they won't even let you step into their office if they know you've been vaccinated. I'm serious. The transmission issue is such a big issue right now for people. There are holistic practitioners that will refuse to see people in person if they've received the jab. Okay. So this is not just some offshoot people just imagining shit. These are very well educated, researched masters at what they do, making these decisions for themselves. Now you can imagine how that might impact his business, his or her business, making a decision like that. But that shows you just how strongly they feel about that decision. Okay, and about the wellness of their clients, the wellness of their people. Okay, so this is not anything to take lightly. This is something to really make sure that is the truth for you. Now, I know light workers, a few within our community, that have decided to do this. Some have been affected adversely, some have not. Okay. And this is how I know the difference. This is how I know, because the ones that have been affected adversely, They have each of something, a weakness on each of these 4 points that I made. Now we can unwind it. We can undo it. I'm not going to kick people out because they've done it. I absolutely respect your choices of what you feel like you have to do to navigate this physical world, because it's challenging, this world. But I know that we can unwind it. I know that we can correct and bring unification into all those areas. And in that case, that their choice actually facilitated a massive healing within them. Right? So I'm not saying that you're fucked if you've done it. I'm just giving you a point here. I know some people do feel like they're screwed. I understand. Okay. Let me get to the blessings. The blessings. Oh crap, no, I have to mention a couple of the dark side stuff. I'm sorry. Before I get into the blessings, let me first talk to you guys about entities and stuff like this, because I don't want you guys to freak out. So most of humanity is inundated with entities. We have to realize that. I'm talking about disincarnate beings, all right? And they could be from this life, but they could be from previous lives. Most humans have, up to hundreds of entities within them. A lot of them are asleep. A lot of them are dormant. A lot of them don't even know where they are. A lot of them think that they're that person. Okay. And that's because once they've attached and then the person went to, they stayed within the incarnational cycles of this planet, they never separated from that being, and they became one with that being, kind of like one with that being. And they continue to reincarnate with them over and over and over. And each incarnational experiences, you pick up a couple more. Okay. This is not unusual. This is not an anomaly. It happens a lot. And when you suffer from monkey mind, you can't think straight. All these thoughts are going on. You feel like they're not your thoughts. Well, guess what? They're not your thoughts. They are the thoughts of these entities who you think are you. It's a case of mistaken identity. You think they're you. They think they're you. Therefore, you operate as if it's part of you. Okay? People who've had really like near-death experiences or massive healing processes, I guarantee you entity removal was a part of the process. And so this digital stuff that I'm talking about, I mean, I've seen people with full body holographic duplicates inside of their physical form, that have received this inoculation. And I mean, so I'm saying that not to scare you, just to be aware, but it's not much different than having an actual entity inside of you. I had a healing a long time ago, and it didn't separate until, her and I were incarnating together for many thousands of years. I literally thought she was me. She thought she was me. And there was a major drama that happened way back before the temples of Delphi, or around the temples of Delphi. And because of that drama, we became braided. Our souls were braided together, and we could not separate. And we went back and forth, reiterating the same wound over and over again, until eventually we came together. Okay, we're back. I have no idea what happened. My computer just decided to jump off the internet. Okay, we're back. Let me finish my story. I don't know where it dropped off. So long story short, my soul and this other soul were braided together, and we had many lifetimes on and off planet together, thinking that we were the same, we were different. It wasn't until I was receiving the highest rights of a mountain tradition in South America, did that lightning bolt highlight that we were different souls that were braided together and overlaid upon each other like this. She thought she was me and I thought she was her. Okay. We did not know that we were separate. Okay. So I'm telling you this story so you realize that entity stuff and overlays happens all the time, and most of us are already affected by it anyway. So I don't want you to be terrified. I just want you to be aware. Okay. Just be aware. That's all. And once you're aware, then you can start making decisions. And these practices that we teach, tuning into your inner rhythms, reclaiming your body, reclaiming interdimensionally the different aspects of who you are. All of this will contribute to the strength of your autonomy, and you won't be so susceptible to these things. Okay, that's why I'm telling you that. Okay, let me get to the blessings. I'm sorry that froze. Hopefully it's all good now. Let me know if you guys, it's all good now. On this side, it all looks good. It all looks fine. I want to wait before I go down this road, because I really want to get to the 3 blessings before I sign off with you guys. All right. Thank you, Joanne. All right. So the 3 blessings, and these are huge. These are huge. I mean, this is not small stuff. This is big stuff. You know how sometimes when things are really bad, you have to really find, the smallest little blessing and make sure you acknowledge it because things are just that difficult. Well, these are not small blessings. These are massive blessings. And I'm so glad to be able to put my finger on it for you guys. You guys know about the phenomena of false gurus, false prophets, false spiritual leaders, right? Why do you think that happens? In my perception, it's about integrity. It's not just the integrity of the spiritual teacher, but it's also the integrity of the people who venerate and put on a pedestal these teachers. So that teacher guru relationship, the whole thing, not the teacher guru, the guru disciple, the spiritual master follower, that whole thing, that kind of relationship. I'm telling you right now, I feel like the age of that relationship is dying. It is dying. Why is it dying? Because the intensity of what's going on is forcing integrity. Now, I'm not just talking about integrity of the leaders, because you can see a disintegrous leader pretty clearly, at least those who are woke to these different other levels. I'm talking about your integrity, your authenticity. Okay. It is impossible to fake yourself out now. And let me explain what I mean. Your core value system. A lot of us, we have these crises of faith, like we have enunciates that, actually there's a specific story. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, I was exposed to an ashram community of a fallen guru. And there was people who gave all of their worldly possessions to the center and enunciated, they were celibate. They ate a monastic lifestyle. Everything was monastic about their lifestyle. And when the guru fell, it was like a major crisis of faith. It was like a major, what the hell, how did I sell myself out? Or, there was that kind of thing that happened. And they were getting benefits, but they were also compromising their own integrity in areas. And it wasn't clear. If they knew at the time they were doing it, they probably would not have done it. But what happened was there's these relationships with spiritual teachers, with people you think know more than you, were overriding some of these subtle voices inside. So it was like the lack of integrity in that community wasn't apparent because, because of all the other stuff going on. But nowadays, for sure, your core values are authentic core values to you, because when things are bad, when they're the worst that they'll ever, when you hit rock bottom, those core values give you strength. Those core values provide you clarity. Okay. They give you courage. They help you get past the rock bottom, wake up out of bed, and show your face to the world yet one more day. So the level of internal integrity is there, where before, in our previous world, it was so easily drowned out by noise. It was so easily drowned out by other people know more than I do. It was so easily drowned out by just all the dogma and other things. So as painful as it is to have to hit rock bottom and rely on those core values, it's a strength. It's an unshakable strength. And really, these blessings that I'm talking about are not necessarily blessings for the ego driver. It's more about your essence, your beingness within your biosuit. Because that means when you decide to leave this level of this level of being, that those core values that are integral to the truth of your soul will be there, and you will not you won't be harvested, you won't be manipulated in the afterlife the way so many people are. For generations, thousands of generations, people have been manipulated. So that is now off the table. That level of manipulation is off the table, because personal integrity is pretty much the only way you're going to survive this time intact. That's a blessing. You guys agree? Okay. The integrity feedback loop has become full on and instant. This is the second blessing. The integrity feedback loop has came full on. And what I mean by that is, when you do something like you're scared, you're like, you don't know what to do. I mean, like things are really intense and you're relying on your core values because that's all you got. And as soon as you take an action and rooted in your core value, you get an instant feedback loop, and they're undeniable, those feedback loops. Okay. So the fuzziness that was there that hindered an accurate reflection of our choices and who we are is no longer there. The clarity is there. Okay. It's just that the sleeping masses are just distracted with this, that, and the other. I mean, their fear noise is much louder than the other noise. But those who are deciding they no longer want to live in fear, they no longer want to, live these ways that are against their being, they're getting instant feedback loops back. Okay. You guys with me? You guys feel like these are that blessings too? And maybe these are blessings that really make our lives easier after this particular lifetime, after this particular incarnational experience. That definitely, I can see that being so. All right, let me get to number 3. The third blessing is that this situation that's going on, it is forcing us to seek out authentic soul family connections and build bonds. It's forcing us to. Before, we're maybe a little bit lazy. Maybe we can have, we can have friends that, they were okay. We had a lot of friends that were maybe outer circle friends, or, you made a lot of associations. Maybe you're a social butterfly. You just got along with everybody, but that's not how it's working now. It's like the lines are very clear. There's a lot of intolerance going on. So if you're not in their boat, you're not one of them, right? You're against them. If you're not in their boat, you're against them. That's the charge. So it's forcing us to seek out those authentic soul connections, the soul family, and build those bonds. And the beautiful, beautiful thing about that is this carries when you are in your soul, when you're in soul relationship like that with your soul family, right? What happens is the true expression of we are in this together. We truly become the we generation. We embrace each other's everything about each other because we recognize that connection and we want to be there to support. We know that there's a place for us within that family. No matter how insignificant you felt throughout your life, when you're in a soul family, there's a place for you. You know that you matter. You make a difference. This is life changing for the human experience. A lot of people, a lot of empaths, a lot of empaths are hermits, and we don't really participate in a lot of these things that are considered social, But this situation is forcing us to reach out to our soul, to find our soul family and build bonds with them. And that awakens our humanity, our humanity in such a way where we truly embrace the celestial truth of we're in this together. the we generation. See, the powers that be know about these cycles of consciousness, and they have taken the frequency of the we generation and turned it into this mess that we have going on. If you don't, you wear a mask because you care about other people, you get shots because you care about other people. This is distortion. This is what they've done for thousands of years. This is a distortion of that core encodement life program, is that we are connected. We are together. What we do impacts everybody in our soul family. Everybody without exception. What we do impacts this world, even if we choose to exit from it, be a hermit. That impacts this world too. Okay, so I feel this is like the biggest blessing of them all. Humanity, once you wake up to this, you can't unwake up to it. It becomes, you recognize it as a core value of what makes life worth living. Yeah, you guys agree? All right. Okay, well, we went a little bit over. Thank you, everybody. Please let me know if this is resonating for you. This is, things are getting pretty heavy. And, going just because you have, low times and high times like this, it doesn't mean like you're doing anything wrong. It just means you're showing up. You're showing up. And we need to address our lows so we can dig inside of ourselves, get to that core value truth that's there, so that can give us the strength to rise back up again. You know what I mean? This is really a trial by fire that we're going through, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So take good care of yourself. Do what you need to do to be well. If you need to stay in bed all day, stay in bed all day. If you want to get out and do what, and be very proactive about stuff, do that too. Just make sure it's right in your heart. You're doing it for the reasons that serve your soul family. Not, don't get, do your best not to get too caught up in the conflict and wars that are happening. I mean, these are personal wars that are going on with people, between families, between neighbors, all that stuff. Obviously, with the whole Facebook agenda to flag people who are extremists and all that. So the tides are turning because the core shifting is happening here. And because it happens here, it's only a matter of time before it hits the external environment. So just remember that. It's just a matter of time before it hits the external environment. And there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us, guys. We might feel alone sometimes, but there's a lot of us, a lot more than we realize. And I feel that. And actually, let's end on that note. Go ahead and take a few breaths and close your eyes if you need to, and feel your light, feel your heartbeat, feel your inner smile. Then expand your awareness to encompass the entire city that you're in, just with your intent. And then ask to see and connect with all the other lights, all those other magnificent lights that are in your town. Ask for them to be revealed to you. See, there may be a lot. Yeah. For some of you, there's a lot. Where I'm at, there's not a lot of people. There's a few very strong ones. And then keep expanding your awareness to the entire continent that you're on. And ask to see all those lights, all those radiant star shines. Mm-hmm. And then expand even further to the entire globe. And ask to see and connect with those lights. There's a lot of them. Some countries have a lot of light. And with all these starlights in your awareness, just echo, I see you. I love you. I support you. We're in this together. And give them all a blessing. A blessing that what they need in this moment to radiate and carry on, that they receive. If it's a friend, if it's a hug, if it's a paycheck, whatever. Give them a blessing that they receive it, exactly what they need. And then give a blessing to the Pachamama, sweet mother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't you feel better doing that? Yeah. See, the key to opening up our humanity is to do things that better humanity, not do things to make ourselves feel better or to give ourselves security, even though those may be needs. The more we offer goodness and service to the bigger picture, the bigger, brighter, happier we feel inside. That's my core value. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and being a part of this community. I can't tell you how fortunate I feel in these moments. We'll be back next week. Let's see what's going on. There's announcements, but my brain is totally not in it. So I'm sorry, I'm going to miss all the announcements I'm supposed to make. All right. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, especially on YouTube. Hit the bell for the notifications, all that stuff, because that helps support us in the world of the digital realm and helps us get out our message, get out to others that perhaps need to hear what we have to say, need to hear the topics and issues that we've come together to talk about and reflect on. So it would be great if you can support us like that. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. All the best. Bye-bye.